Welcome back to another episode of Quarter Horse Customs. Today we're going to talk about the Reaper Stang. Well, as you guys saw when we did the 387 rebuild and got ready to go to the racetrack, we couldn't. Good thing we thrashed to put it back together to go to the racetrack we couldn't go to. So we just put it away for winter. Well, winter's almost coming to an end. We have a few months before race season, and even though I love this car very, very much, there is one huge flaw that holds me back from doing the one thing I want to do with this car. As some of you may know, we have the little one, little Eleanor. Well, she would have to go with us for what I want to do. But first, let's explain how I built this car and why I love this car so much. So obviously, you all know what's under the hood. And under the hood, we have 387 cubic inches of LS stomping badassery. So, you all know this is a 387 stroker. 351 Windsor block. We picked the roller cam block. 3.85 stroke crank. Factory 351 Windsor rods. And factory 302 forged TRW pistons from a small block Ford 302. Like fox bodies with the forged ones. Amazon intake. Brawler carburetor. The cheapest distributor I could find that had everything ready to go for my MSD box. An MSD box. A Summit cam. I know. Some people say I need a bigger cam. Well, we're getting there. We are absolutely getting there. I have full intentions of yanking that cam out and slapping a different one in. Just want to play around and get used to the build until we get there. And then some AFR aluminum heads. Ultimately, this was a really budget engine. When you start looking at the prices of buying a long block and then heads, intake, carburetor, you're about the same price, even with the machine work we did. A lot of it, we did some self-clearancing and stuff like that. With the grinder, not with the rod bolts. But in all, this car really didn't break the bank. We went out 4 or 5 times to the track, and we learned a lot, especially after some explosive detonation that kind of killed it the last time. But in all reality, I think it was like a $100 coil. I do believe the fuel pump and the regulator were kind of pricey. Could have went with like a Holly blue or Holly red or Holly black, but I wanted the Aeromotive because I've heard really good results about them, and I was like, you know what? Last thing I want to do is run this thing without any fuel. So I went ahead and made sure the fuel system was up there. The fuel lines were just Amazon specials. Really wish I would have got the P, T, F, and the E, because I do believe we will be making a swap here soon that's going to require that. Brawler carburetor, we got that on sale. It's just a race carburetor. We got the $100 Evil Bay agitator. Just regular fox body hoses, a regular fox body brake booster, regular fox body master cylinder. Not like, it's not above and beyond craziness here. I did have to do a $40 Jegs throttle cable because the other one just wasn't doing very hot with the kind of snaking here, and it wasn't doing it. We got the coolant overflow out of another car. Some of these parts you guys can find from other cars. We did get extremely lucky having my wife's 302 headers fit the 387. So that was an extreme benefit to it. We did go ahead and get the Ford Racing plug wires. No, it's not an MSD distributor, even though it says MSD. That's just off of another one that a friend had laying around. It's just a regular high torque mini starter off of like an Exploder. We didn't, $100 alternator from Jegs, just a regular water pump. We didn't go breaking the bank. Now, did have to, kind of spend a couple dollars on the hood just so a guy could clear. Wanted to make sure we could actually keep the engine under the hood. But we probably could have ran a smaller hood if I had a drop air cleaner but I wanted the flat air cleaner to help the airflow get into the carburetor. And we also do have the spacer in here. That way when we do swap with nitrous, I don't have to worry about going, oh no, the hood don't fit now that we're running nitrous. Because I already accounted for the nitrous spacer block with having that spacer block in there. Now inside the car, I don't mind that it's still a little messy. It's just kind of been sitting in here. Inside the car, we went completely budget. We rescued a roll cage out of a different car. We made it fit into our car for now. You know, they sell the kits for a couple $100 if you want to put one in. We did get tech approved. Found the seats. I think they're the Jegs version. I found these on Facebook. He wanted, I think it was like $35-45 for 3 of them. I was like, sold. Okay. So picked those up. You know, I just modified the factory brackets so I could slide the adjustability in case the wife ever wants to drive. You know, she got little legs. She can't reach down there. The tachometer, we went ahead and got at a swap meet. I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, it looked brand new. The gauges up in the dash, we did spend a little bit of money on, but we just went to Jegs and got the Equus versions. And then the back plate here is actually out of an old toolbox I had laying around. I just went ahead and shaped it out to how I needed it, measured out the holes, drilled them out, and then sanded them down. Didn't have a center console, so I went ahead and just bent up some more of that toolbox. You know, all I needed was the shifter. And then the switch panel is just some aluminum too. Just some aluminum with some holes drilled into it. I mean, not a whole lot of, money was dumped on the inside. You know, back here in the back, might have some type of aluminum signage here. Maybe. Covering the spare tire hole and the back seat delete, which that is going to be the biggest reason why I can't use this car for what I want to use it for now. I'll tell you that here in a minute. Cheap old battery box. But we did spend a little bit of extra. We got one of these breakaway fuse breaker circuits. Just in case, the alternator wire or the starter wire got juiced up onto the frame somewhere, it doesn't catch the car on fire. We got the Amazon special on-off switch. It's working fine. Actually worked better than the one I got from Jegs that ended up breaking within 3 tries. I did put some battery terminals on here back when we had issues. It was sitting there, go to start, you'd be like, found out that maybe 500 cold cranking amps ain't quite enough to do 387 cubic inches. Oops. Oh, that's just my center caps. I'm actually trying to keep everything together because, we are in winter trim. I don't want to store it on the nice tires, so we're in winter trim. And that's the race jacket my wife was amazing to buy me for Christmas. Oh, yeah. For seat belts, we originally picked up this one here from Jegs. Worked great and everything, but I was having issues. I didn't have the taggle thing here to release it. But we ended up getting those ones on sale from Summit. J-Force. So those guys are in my driver's seat. What's eventually going to happen is this car is actually going to become the wife's car because it's already got the 6-point cage. And I have another car lined up that we're going to swap all of this stuff into so she can put a 302 turbo in this car. The other car has the start of a better cage. That way the guy can be nice and safe. The helmet we actually found online had $100. Brand new. Guy just didn't fit him. I don't know why you'd buy a helmet without making sure it fits, but that was a score. It's not, you don't have to break the bank to race. Now, I do know if you want to make millions drag racing, I'm pretty sure you got to start somewhere with the billions. We got these guys here from the swap meet as well, our 2-step and our RPM selector.
Oh, you dropped one.
Also, when we got the car, here's a picture right here. She was stripped. Had none of this in it. This is all from just miscellaneous parts cars we've gathered. I believe these were from a junkyard, actually. The door panels. These are off of like an 84 because they match my car. The dash was actually out of an 81. The dash pad was out of a blue 84 we just rattle canned. Some of the trim plastics, I think, were out of a 83, 84, 85-ish. The back quarter plastics we got out of an 81 a buddy was selling. And, we just kind of cobbled it together to make it work. The carpet up front here is actually out of a foxbody. It's just your regular replacement carpet. But for the back, we just went up to Menards and just got some auto marine carpet. Oh, wife's playing with a stink bug. Want to eat it?
No.
Okay. Just got some auto marine carpet. And then, we did the cheapo 5-lug swap. Those are actually Ranger axles. Because I wanted to go 5-lug with the car. Because I could find rod lights in 5-lug really easily. So here's my beautiful 5-lug rod light. I could find rod lights in 5-lug a dime a freaking dozen. I found the backs. I was like, yes! We finally got them.
Can you tell the story about how you found them?
But I couldn't find the fronts. And of course, my luck, my fronts are 4-lug. Not complaining. I don't care because I'm never going to put the rears on the front and I'm never putting the fronts on the rear. So it's fine. It's actually really good because I have a whole bunch of extra skinnies. So I can have a street trim, maybe. Oh, don't tell them that.
So we were on our way home from Lima, and he was driving, and it had to be on Facebook Marketplace, and some rod lights popped up, and they were like $100 for 2 of them. And I was like, man. So I messaged the guy, and he messaged me back, and I was like, hey, you got these? And he goes, well, someone's on their way. I was like, dude, I'll give you $150 for them right now. He was like, fine. I'll tell the other guy they sold. So we picked them up for $150, $50 more than what they wanted to pay, but hey, we got them home. These ones here, found them on Facebook Marketplace too. They were put on there, I think, for what, $200, I think they said. Something like that. And then I talked with him and haggled a little bit, and he said, how about $175? I was like, deal. So I drove all the way up to Toledo to pick them up, and I got up there, and we were looking at these ones. I said, yeah, they're great. And I sent pictures to my husband. He's like, hey, I have these other set of foxbody rims. I went back and I looked at them. I was like, oh yeah, those things look nice. They had a really good tread on them. It looked like they're damn near brand new. And he said he'll take $250 for all 4 of them. I was like, dude, I'll give you $200 for all 4 of them. And he took it. So we got 2 rod lights for $200, and then he also threw in these for an extra $25. He threw these in for $25. We got 2 of them. So we got rod lights for $175, and we got 2 of these for $25.
And they have Mickey Thompson, ET Drags. 28 by 9 by 15. I mean, $25. Well, you know what? Before I tell you what I want to do with these, might as well tell you the secret about what we wanted to originally do with this car. These are Mickey Thompson ET Drags. 28 by 9 by 15s. They're a little bit smaller than what I usually run, but when you look at my Nitto next to side by side, it's not that big of a difference. So I guess might as well tell you what my plans were for this car. So when I built the car, built in the go left, go right selectors. We got the turn signals. I got headlights. I got stopping lights. She's got everything to be street legal. I wanted to do a drag and drive with it. It's like perfect. We'll just hop in, we'll go on a drag and drive, come back, yada yada. But talking with the wife, we wanted to take the little one with us. So when I built the car, I wanted to build it so it was street legal. So we got headlights, we got taillights, we got the go left, go right selector, got turn signals, marker lights, all that good jazz. I even kept factory-ish seat belts. So the whole car was ready to go. And then I found out about drag and drives. Won't say how I heard of it, but he's going, yep, I know. Yep. So I wanted to do a drag and drive with it, but we got the rug wrap. Well, where my cage is, I can't fit a back seat in the car. So if I can't figure out a back seat, I'm going to have to start that project and get it cranked out within the next 3 months by stripping everything out of this car and throwing into that car with some extra work that has to be done to that car as well. Which might not actually be a bad idea, because back in the back over there, I still got to get axles for it. But I got a rebuilt spool that was a buddy, a close family friend of ours rebuilt for me. It's a it's a 373 spool, because a guy might have broke his 373 posi. So I stole the wife's rear end, but she wants that back. So now I'm sitting here like, okay, so I got to put the rear end in and all that stuff. And the rear seats aren't working. We were going to do a TKX swap, but I would like to run 10 seconds in the quarter mile for under $10,000. My dad did it, 10 for 10. I want to do it too. Can I run 10 for 10? 10 seconds in the quarter. Even if it's a 10.99, it's still 10. So I decided, let's do it with the T5. Let's show that you can be a regular guy and build a motor and build a car and go on drag and drives and have the fun that everybody else does without having to spend $10,000 to do it. $10,000 car, $20,000, $30,000 car. It's all about the experience. Let's get out there. Let's do it. Let's show them, you know, us guys just building the cars for fun can still have fun with them, you know? So I'm keeping the T5. I got a spare, just so you know, because we're going to need it. Keeping the T5 in. We might be upgrading on the clutch. Rear end is getting upgraded. But the other big snafu is 387 stroker. She likes the higher octane. We did some math. It was going to be $1,800
For what?
drag and drive.
Yeah.
For just the driving part, based on some rough calculations of fuel mileage, about $1,800 in 110 to 112 octane fuel. That's not going to work. Not at all. We already know that she can run on 93, but she can't race on 93. And I really don't feel like swapping it out, risking having a little bit of 93 left in there. So we're going to go with an E85 swap. We're going to do absolute budget. We already got a brand new carburetor, so we're going to get metering blocks. My fuel pump is already rated to run E85, but my fuel line is not, so I got to rerun the fuel line. Get a different fuel pressure regulator, no problem. The whole swap, I think, would be like $500 to swap to E85. And some of you are going, "Ooh, yeah, I can't do that." That's a lot of money, and you know what? It can be sometimes. You know, some of us, just trying to get through the days and stuff. But then I did the math, and $1,800 for a drag and drive. Well, how much would it be on E85? Did the math, $600 to race, drive, race, drive, race, drive, race, drive, and then put it back on the trailer. Yep, we're going E85. That right there is solved. I mean, wow. I know. Some of you are like, nope, I don't like E85. And I am not telling you to go E85. I'm just telling you that's what we're going to do. If you want to do it, great. I'm gonna show you everything we do to swap our gas setup carb to E85. Hopefully it works. Hopefully we can get this thing out there this year. Hopefully we can break into the 10s. At least at the end of this year, I want to run a low 11. Last year we had it out. My best time was a 12:03. It was the first year I had it out. First year drag racing. We had a burnt up clutch. We had a wavy ass flywheel. We had 355 rear end stolen from my wife. We apparently had a spun rod bearing on cylinder 6. And we still ran a 12:03. Oh, and I was also launching at RPM because of the clutch and couldn't get my freaking tires to stay in the burnout pit long enough to get the water off of them, so we were launching with water on the tires too. So I think with this setup, we can definitely get into the low 11s. Maybe even get into that 10. And I mean, stock shocks. I do think we have BBK drag springs in the back, but we had them out of another car. And then I threw some airbags in the back of those to help with the launch. Probably need to get an anti-roll bar here soon. So that's probably going to be on the list. But I don't know if I want to put all that extra stuff into this body or if I just need to get that thing out and reveal it to you guys and just start on it. Because it might just be a better candidate. It needs the roll cage finished. Needs a fuel system. Needs a motor and transmission. Got one of those too. It does need a K member though. They torched on it. Needs some interior. Don't know where I'll find that. And the other thing is it fits a back seat. The cage has a slightly different cage than this one. It kind of comes back off the hoop and then down. So the rug rack can go with us. So now that I'm thinking about it, I'm 100% going to just do this. Yep, okay. New plan. In the next 3 to 4 months, we're building that car. Great. What could go wrong? I mean, good news is we got most parts right here. So what do you guys think of that? Can we run 10s for 10s in that car? Yeah, I'm going to keep track of the price of everything I have in this car. We're just scooching into that car. Because honestly, that car only cost, I think, $400 more than I paid for this car, because I paid $200 for this shell. $250. That one I only paid $600 for. With the tittle. Yep. Okay. So now we're at $5,900. Well, I think that's it. I just made the decision right here with you guys. I love this car, but we're going to get ready to turn it into the wife's car. We're moving everything to that one. So as soon as this Chevy truck project's out of the way, we're throwing that one up on the lift. We're going to get it cleaned up. It does have some surface rust under the floor pans. You know, maybe a little hole here, hole there. We're going to get that taken care of. I would show you how I made my subframe connectors on that one, but hey, it's already got some. But I'll show you how I made mine, because mine were free. So for subframe connectors, I had this 2x1 here that we took off of a ladder truck type deal, and I just used the lift to put these bends in right here and there, and it's just welded back to the box with some plates on each side, and then up here it's just welded all the way along. I know I'm not a welder, just don't look. Yep, see, welds look great if you don't look at them. So you can make your own subframe connectors for really cheap, as long as you can find a way to bend the metal. You know, we're just running the stock shock. I think that is a BBK lowering spring or drag spring with the airbag. We got our sump fuel tank. Our fuel pump is right there, coming out the back. I mean, there's not a whole lot fancy down here. Well, you know what? We've even got a drive shaft safety loop running the stock drive shaft. You know, you guys can do this too. You don't need to have all the money. Well, I think that's going to be a wrap for this video. So, you know, you don't have to listen to those people who tell you have to dump a whole bunch of money into the car. A couple $1,000s builds you a really decent car. I mean, especially if you're already starting out with something that's not a bare chassis. You can do it. I'll get out there. Let me know if you're out there. Get your cars out there, man. Come on. If you need some help and you don't know how to do something, need something made, comment down below, and maybe I've done it or I'm going to do it, and I'll do it. You know, we built the entire wiring harness in this car ourselves. You know, I know one of the biggest snafus I'm going to run into. I want to pull a trailer, because I'm going to do a drag and drive. Bet your ass I'm not worrying about a hotel. I don't want to be sitting there on the side of the road going, it's 9:30. We got to be clocked into the hotel before 11, and we're waiting on parts. Got a flat tire or something. Nope. Don't want to do that. So I think we're going to build a 4x8 camper. Can we find a pop-up camper frame, 4x8, maybe a Hobo Freight? No, let's try to do this the cheapest way possible. Let's see if we can build a car. That one probably. As cheap as possible, but also have it safe, and build a camper that doubles as our drag and drive trailer for as cheap as possible too. That way you guys have a reference point to do it. I think we can do this. What do you think? I think it'd be awesome to see all of you guys out on a drag and drive. I would love it. Hell, it could double as a hot rod power tour trailer. Heck yeah. I think we can do it. So definitely stay tuned, because we're going to be starting that car And then, you know, if it doesn't get up right away by April, we'll obviously take this back out and do some runs. But as far as money-wise, it's going to cost about the same as it did to build this car because we're just going to be transplanting. Except I'm going to be making a completely new wiring harness out of scraps. I've got a couple of old wiring harnesses laying out back that we can make work. I think we got a K-member out of a parts car we can use. I think we can do this. Cheap, budget, 10 for 10s, and drag and drive. Hell yeah. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you much for watching. I want to see you out there. Thank you.